and along with that, a very important content in this session, so that is OOPS characteristics. I need to get my things done from the computer. That's why I need the programming language. Remember, we have three types of programming: procedural, structural. What exactly this data and what exactly this function, this structured programming will help me to implement if statements. Hello everyone, I welcome all of you to my first session on object-oriented programming. Sir, we're not able to see you, only your voice is coming. Yes guys, I'm here for all of you. So if you are thinking the programming stuff are very difficult to understand, very difficult to follow, why I have taken computer science. My dear students, I will take you to the world of programming from today onwards. So it will be very easy for all of you, and I will assume that you don't know anything with respect to the programming language, and I will start my session from the scratch. So this is the chapter number 5 for all of you, object-oriented programming session 1. So let me start without wasting much of your time. So let me start. So guys, what is that I have in this session? I will be discussing some of the introduction content. Along with that, we have different types of programming. So that is what I will be discussing. And along with that, a very important content in this session. So that is OOPS characteristics. So guys, let me start with the first concept, that is introduction. So before I get into the introduction concept, right, let me tell you something. Why do we have programming language? What is the use of programming language? What exactly this programming language is all about? Bhakshanam kaichu, rale enda kaichu, mone, matimlai manpara mochu. So if I speak like this, if I teach like this, will you understand? No, right? I want to speak in a language in which you will understand, that is English. In the same way, I need to talk to a computer in the language in which the computer will understand. So I need a language, right? So I need a language in which the computer will understand. So that language is what I will call it as a programming language. So why do we need this programming language, sir? I need to get my things done from the computer. That's why I need the programming language. I will be giving the instructions to the computer to do my task on behalf of me. So I will have to give the instructions. Yes, I have to give the instructions. So how do I give the instructions? I will give the instructions in terms of programs. So for that, I need a language. So that is what I will call it as a programming language. So fine, you got an idea about the programming language. Let's start what exactly that I have in the first point. So guys, a lot discussed much about this, but I'll give you the deep knowledge about what exactly the programming language is all about. Programming language mainly concentrate on two things, that is data and algorithm. Data and algorithm. Sir, we have heard about data, but we don't know what exactly the data is all about. Let me tell you something interesting. I have 60 students. Imagine I have 60 students in front of me. 60 is a data. I know all their names. The name is a data. I know their result. The result is a data. The raw facts is what I will call it as a data. Raw facts is what I will call it as a data. I can have different forms of data. It can be image data, it can be audio data, it can be video data, it can be any different types of data. All this raw facts, I will call it as a data. So then what is algorithm? You did not tell anything about algorithm. Coming to that point, I have the robot. I have asked the robot to clean my car. I've asked my robot to clean my car. So how the robot will understand how it should clean? So for that, I have to give set of instructions. Now what is the problem? Washing the car is a problem. So how do I solve this problem? I have to solve this problem step by step. So first you should find the tub. Second step, you should find the water for that tub. Then third step, find the car where exactly I have parked. Next step, go and take the cloth. Next step, pour the water on the car. Next step, clean the car. So like this, I will be solving this problem step by step. Solving a problem step by step in finite number of steps. Please understand, I'm using a word called finite. Finite in the sense you know exactly how many steps that you will take. So this is what I will call it as an algorithm. So this is what I will call it as an algorithm. You have a problem, you're trying to solve that problem in finite number of steps. That is what I will call it as an algorithm. So you got to know about data and you got to know about the algorithm. Mainly your programming language is concentrating on data and algorithm. That is what you have to remember at this point of time. What is that you have to remember? You have to remember about the data as well as the algorithm with respect to the programming language. I'll be speaking in detail about this programming languages in the coming slide. So guys, I have different types of programming. So let me start with the first one. I have procedural programming. Then I have structured programming, and finally I have object-oriented programming. What is the name of the chapter? Object-oriented programming is the name of the chapter. So listen to me carefully. How many types of programming I have? I started with procedure programming. In the initial days, we started with the procedural programming. So then I have got the structural programming, and then again I will find some of the drawbacks in the structural programming. Then I will move on to the object-oriented programming. So you got to know how many different types of programming that we have. I'm not speaking about programming language. I'm speaking about programming. How many different ways that I can program. So that is what I'm talking about. Remember, we have three types of programming: procedural, structural, object-oriented programming. Each programming is different. Listen to me carefully. In the initial days, we started with procedural programming. So what is procedural programming? Let me start with that. So guys, I have procedural programming. So I have the main program. Main program is getting divided into different small procedures. Sir, what are these procedures? I have the main program. That main program is getting divided into procedures. The main task is getting divided into subtasks as procedures. That is the first point that you should remember. As soon as you look at this diagram, you should be able to understand the main program data is getting divided into procedures. That is the first point that you should remember. So guys, listen here carefully. The procedural programming focuses on processing the instructions. It concentrates on processing the instructions. Point number one, procedural programming concentrates on processing the instructions in order to perform a desired computation. The first thing the procedural programming is concentrating on, how do I process the instructions? I have given the set of instructions, right? So in my programming language, I have given set of instructions. Procedural programming language, first, what is that it is doing? It will execute the instructions. It will execute the instructions what I have given. What are the instructions that I have given? So first instruction that I have given with the previous example is find the bucket. So first it will find the bucket. To wash the car, right? So first thing, what is the first instruction that I had given? So find the bucket. So what it will do, if it is procedural programming, so it will find the bucket. So why it is executing the instruction? Because it will execute the instruction step by step. All the instructions one by one it will execute. That's how the procedural programming is working. That is the first point that you should understand. Moving on. Therefore, it highlights more on doing the things like algorithms. In the previous slide, I spoke about algorithm. What exactly the algorithm is doing? Step by step, it is executing the task, right? So same thing in procedural programming also. What is the next one that I have? So this programming is lengthy. So guys, this programming is quite complex. This programming is very lengthy. That is one of the drawbacks that I have with respect to procedural programming. Point number 1, it executes the instruction first. Point number 2, it works exactly like algorithm. Point number 3, it is lengthy. It is lengthy. So that is what you have to understand. And also, it increases the complexity. It increases the complexity. So that is one more point that you should remember when it comes to the procedural programming. So, and the next thing is, this technique is used in conventional programming languages like C and Pascal. So we have something called C programming. We are studying C++ in your syllabus, but we have one programming language called C. So before C++ we had C. Now also we have, but the previous version of C++ is C. So in all those languages we were using procedure oriented programming. Is it procedural programming? I should not use a word called procedural oriented programming. It is just procedural programming. So most of the students, after discussing the concept of object oriented programming, you will use the word procedure oriented programming. No, it is procedural programming. Procedural programming. That is what you have to remember in this slide. So guys, what is that I have? It will execute the instruction first. That is the first point that you should remember. What is the second one? Guys, therefore it highlights more on doing the things like algorithm. Step by step it will execute the task. So guys, it increases the length of the program and also it increases the complexity, and we were using this procedural programming in C and Pascal. This is what you have to remember with respect to the procedural programming. So moving on to the next one, I have structural programming. The second programming is structural programming. So what do I have here? So I will be using if else, while. All these things I will be using in this structural programming. So what exactly this point is all about? What is this? Please understand, approach which limits branching of small sets, and we are using if else. All these things is what, sir? We are not aware of these words. Guys, you have the coming chapters. After discussing the coming chapters, you will understand this in much better way. Don't have to worry right now. Just listen to me. So this structured programming will help me to implement if statements, if else statements, and while loops. It will all help me to branch my statements. It will all help me to branch my statements, grouping my statements, small subgroup I can do with the statements. Right now you don't have to worry about all these things. As and when the classes moves on, so you will understand all these topics. I will be discussing this in detail in the coming classes. Right now you don't have to worry. So guys, this structural programming uses top-down design. This structural programming uses top-down design. That is what you have to remember as of now. And then major drawback with this structural programming is, guys, I will not be able to write the program for real world problems. I have some real world problems. So if I use the structural programming, I will not be able to write the program for a real world problems. Then how do I solve this problem? I had a lot of drawbacks in procedural oriented programming, that is lengthy, and the complexity was more when compared to all other programming. So to solve that, I have come to the structure oriented programming language, that is structural programming language. So how do you solve? So by implementing if else, while, all these things you're using to solve those problems. But still I have one more problem, that is I'm not able to write the program for real world problems. So what is that real world problems? So how do I solve that? To solve that problem, I have the next programming, so that is object-oriented programming. So when it comes to the object-oriented programming, we have something called object. Object is nothing but, imagine that is a bag. Inside that bag, I have two things. One is data, another one is function. What exactly this data and what exactly this function, I will be discussing that in the coming sessions in detail. As of now, you just have to remember, inside the object, I have two things. One is object, another one is function. So and also I will call this object as an entity. I will also call this object as an entity, and this programming language follows bottom-up technique. Bottom-up technique. What exactly this bottom-up technique is all about, sir? I have the program. This program is divided into smaller modules, sub-modules. This program is divided into smaller sub-modules. So it approach, in the sense, it uses the technique, or it follows the technique that is bottom-up technique. So guys, it will start executing from the bottom is what you have to understand. It will start executing from the minute task, and then it combines and it will become the complete object. So guys, so it uses the technique called bottom-up technique, and you should remember object contains two things. One is function, another one is data. Please remember, this is what I have inside the object. Object is a single unit. So this is what you have to remember in this slide. What is that you have to remember? Object. Inside the object, I have two things. One is function, another one is data. Moving on to the next one. So this is what I have discussed in the last slide. So please remember, this is object A. What is that I have inside? I have data and I have functions. What is that I have in the object C? I have data and I have functions. The same way that I have in the object B. A group of objects, I will call it as a class. A similar group of objects. All these objects, if all these objects are sharing the same properties, same characteristics, then I will call this as a class. I will call this as a class. What is class? Remember, two things you have to understand by now. That is class as well as objects. What is class? Class is a group of objects. Class is a group of objects. What kind of objects? All the objects, whatever I have inside the class, should have same properties. Should have same properties, same characteristics. Then only I will call that as a class. Then only I will call that as a class. That is what you have to remember. So by now, you understood what is object. Object contains two things. One is, can you tell me? One is function, another one is data. So what is class? Class is a group of similar objects. Class is a group of similar objects. This is with respect to the definition. One more easy thing that I will tell you now, listen to me carefully. What is that? So object, in the sense, it is a replica. It is a replica of class. It is a replica of class. That is what you have to remember. That is what you have to remember. Imagine, I will give you the original handwritten notes. What is that? Original handwritten notes. I can't write the notes for everybody. The 60 odd people are there inside the class. I cannot write the 60 different notes. So what I will do, I will give you the original notes and I will ask you to take the photocopy. I'll ask you to take the Xerox of that notes. So you will take the 60 copies. That 60 copies are same like what I have written, right? So guys, that 60 copies are the objects of the original copy. Original copy is a class. That 60 copies what you have taken, the photocopy, that 60 copy is what I will treat it as a object. Please understand that. That's how the class and object is treated as. Class is just a template. That is what you have to understand. What is that you will understand now? It's very simple. So you have to remember only the class as well as the object. Class, in the sense, it is a group of similar object. Object contains two things. One is function, another one is data. That is what you have to remember. So fine. Let me just give you a quick recap what I have done till now. So I started with the introduction. I told you about what is programming language, and also I told you different types of programming languages, different types of programming we have. One is procedural, second one is structural, third one is object oriented. In procedural, what is the problem that we have? It is very lengthy, it is very complex. It executes instruction by instruction. So I had a lot of drawbacks. That's why I moved on to the structural programming language, that is structured programming. So what happens in the structured programming? It uses top-down approach. It uses top-down approach, and also it started using if-else, while all those branching statements it started using. But still, I was not able to solve the real-world problems. To solve that, I have next kind of programming, that is object-oriented programming. So guys, inside this object-oriented programming, you have to remember two things. One is class, another one is objects. So this is what you have to remember when it comes to the classes and objects. So guys, I have come to an end of this session. I have given you the brief knowledge with respect to what is programming language and different types of programming, that is procedural programming. And the next one is, can you all tell me what is the second one that we have? Structural programming. And the last one is object-oriented programming. And I have also discussed what is class and what is object. So by this, I will take a leave. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care of your health. See you in the next session. I will be discussing a very important topic, in fact, in the coming session. Stay tuned. Bye-bye. See you.